Government provides an update on roadworks in some parts of St. Andrew. A major plan announced to reduce the number of homeless people. Reaction to the death of a St. John man electrocuted while on the job yesterday. And in sports, the Amazon Warriors' unbeaten run in CPL continues.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. Residents of Bawden's St. Andrew and others who use the bridge bearing that name will soon have reasons to smile. That's because an additional $50,000 is being spent to complete work on the structure. Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Transport Works and Water Resources, Santia Bradshaw, made the disclosure at a post-cabinet press briefing.
The ratification of a paper that we brought just last week in relation to Bawden's Bridge. I know many persons in the St. Andrew district, and in particular my parliamentary secretary, have been asking for quite some time about the Bawden's Bridge. We had previously brought it to cabinet, and at the time we were looking at a precast structure to be able to start the works on the bridge. There were some variations that had to be made to the design. I think everybody is well aware that the Scotland district is not a straightforward district to work in. As a result, we had made some variations. There were some increases in the cost, about $50,000 extra, to be able to make the necessary accommodations. And having had all of the designs put in place, speaking with the contractors, we are now at that stage where we've given approval.
Acting Chief Technical Officer Philip Tudor says the focus now is to make the roads falling within the $230 million Complant deal climate resilient. He says 15 are being worked on in Phase 1 and the teams are out doing some reassessments because the rain has impacted work.
White Hill Road is currently being undertaken. We completed work at Shorey Village. That was the first road on the Complant program that was to be done. We're going to work on Ernie-Bourne Highway. IDB would have done a section of Ernie-Bourne Highway, but we're continuing from Barclays Park up to Cattle Wash, and also from the school, Alliance School, right, Alliance School to St. Andrew's Parish Church. Moores Bottom, Hillaby, Bloomsbury. Now Bloomsbury, we're kind of concerned with Bloomsbury because that is failing at an accelerated rate. So we've asked Complant to go in and do the designs for Bloomsbury so that we can start Bloomsbury as soon as possible.
Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry and representative for St. Andrew, Dr. Rommel Springer, says he spent most of the day in the field visiting the work sites. According to him, while all cannot be done at once, the residents should be happy to see that those which were out of commission for over 2 years will be rebuilt.
Bridge was a priority from the time we came to from the time I came to this ministry. We would have spent many a Monday morning discussing the best possible design for a bridge like that. That is one of the biggest bridges in St. Andrew, and it takes a tremendous amount of water during the rainy season. And the CTO alluded to the fact that we now have to build bridges that are resilient to climate change. Maybe it's something that we do not discuss a lot, but I think that there's no coincidence that a number of our bridges are now failing.
In other post-cabinet news, a major plan has been announced to address homelessness by moving the operation of shelters to 24 hours. Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphreys says greater financial and human resources will be allocated to deal with the issue. He says the Salvation Army and the Clyde Gollop Shelter will be included, but the biggest input will be to create day facilities and care at the Barbados Alliance to End Vagrancy and Homelessness in the city.
There's no plan to second anyone from the ministry. We're going to be working with the Alliance. We will obviously be interested in determining who gets the jobs, though. As it stands, the cost associated with it is $252,000 for the year. And that would include, and I'm talking off the cuff, but that would include one nurse, a doctor, 2 security guards, counseling sessions, I think at about $50, food, which is going to be costly, and so on. So we have it practically broken down. I think more important than that, though, is the fact that, I've already said it publicly, that we intend to be a lot more detailed, thank you, in our scrutiny of these organizations.
Mr. Humphrey notes while the shelter gets a subvention from government for its night program, it's difficult to get medical and mental health services at that time.
They operate from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., which means that during the course of the day, persons who are homeless really have no facility. The other thing is that during the night time, it's probably not the best time for interventions, you know, for counseling, medical interventions, and so on and so forth. These things are better delivered in the day. So for us to be able to adequately address the challenges facing homelessness and the homeless, we needed to have access to a homeless shelter. If you consider that in relation to what the Prime Minister has recently expressed and what I've expressed is the functioning and DNA of this government, which is that we will work with the third sector. We're going to work with the NGO community to be able to deliver this.
And as government continues the process of overhauling its social protection systems, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Jehu Wiltshire, says elder abuse and other issues affecting seniors are being dealt with. He says over the last 18 months, the ministry has worked to develop a comprehensive national policy on aging, which has been approved by Cabinet for public consultation.
Within another week or so, we'll be going to Cabinet with this paper with a view to getting Cabinet to approve this very comprehensive paper, which has a very comprehensive action plan. We are now also at the stage of finalizing the draft and instructions for the accompanying legislation, because we recognize that and I will speak frankly, there are many cases of elder abuse in this country, and the whole purpose of the legislation, along with other things, is to seek to mitigate that abuse.
Mr. Wiltshire made the comments at a World Alzheimer's Month seminar at the Lord Erskine Sandiford Centre. President of the Barbados Alzheimer's Association, Pamelia Brereton, says research shows the disease can start from as far back as 30 years before it becomes full-blown. She stressed the importance of identifying the signs of Alzheimer's and to ensuring the individuals have adequate care, as the situation is affecting more and more people.
Dementia has now escalated to worldwide as an epidemic, with 55 million people affected, and these numbers will increase to 155 million by 2050. The region itself has about 328,000, and by 2050, that's going to triple. That's in our region. More doctors will be needed and more nurses will be needed, so we need to train more nurses and so on. This is one of the most heartbreaking diseases I've ever witnessed. I take this opportunity to remind you once again, dementia is everyone's business.
And we are also being told within another 30+ years, dementia will impact 160% more people, and that's why the prevention and care of the illness has to be tackled earlier in life. This message from Dr. Nicole Anderson, the Associate Scientific Director of Kimmel Family Center for Brain Health and Wellness and a researcher with Baycrest Academy for Research and Education. However, while Dr. Anderson says genetics play a major role in dementia, there are other factors that impact if people develop it.
The good news is that most of the genetic influence on risk of dementia is just increasing one's risk of getting it. It's not genetically predetermining that you are going to get it if you carry these genes. There are those cases, but they are quite rare. And so for most of us, we might carry some risks, some genes that increase our risk. But in the way that I view it is that if you have these genes that are increasing your risk, you can help reduce that risk by healthy lifestyle.
The 46-year-old man who was electrocuted while carrying out a task at his St. George workplace yesterday has been identified by police. He is Patrick Jones of Colleton Tenantry, St. John. His father, Cleveland Richards, along with other residents of the community where Jones lived, say he will be missed.
He did very nice, very nice. He got his ears. And now he speak to you about it, he get angry. I don't mind. Because I could call you the next 15 minutes and tell you to come and do something for you and you will do it.
It was really shocking to hear the news yesterday. Still in disbelief. can say he was a regular at money shop, especially when his aunt was in Barbados, because he was the set-up boy for her. And he was missed.
He was raised by my grandmother, and he was very cool, polite, and respectable, and you could call on him anytime for help, and he'll be there to assist you.
Meanwhile, Manager of Communications and Government Relations with the Barbados Light and Power Company, Jackie Marshall-Clark, has expressed condolences to his family in the wake of the incident.
We received a report at about 12:10 p.m. informing us of an incident in Salters, St. George. It involved a crane and a construction worker lifting beams. That construction worker later died at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. As required under the circumstances, we will actively investigate the matter and work with all the relevant authorities dealing with the incident. But for us, this is particularly difficult because it's the second electrical contact incident in 2 weeks. We are saddened by this, and no doubt, circumstances surrounding electrical contact remain a concern, as safety is one of our core values. Again, we express sincere condolences to the family of the deceased.
Now, according to the police, Jones only started working at the Glacial Pure Ice plant where the incident occurred on Monday. Officers say he was immediately assisted at the scene and an ambulance summoned to take him to the hospital. However, he died while receiving medical treatment. We'll take a break here, but coming up, passengers who traveled on a Copa flight complain about their bags not arriving with them. The Southern Criminal Investigation Department of the Barbados Police Service has arrested and formally charged 37-year-old Alex Damien Burnett of Cheshire St. John with the murder of Hendy Graves a week ago on September the 7th. He appeared before Magistrate Joy Ann Clark in the District C St. Matthias Magistrates Court yesterday. The accused man was remanded to Dodds Prison and is scheduled to reappear on October the 11th. An inmate of Dodds Prison is now back in custody after he escaped custody while at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital this morning. CBC News understands swift action by officers on location nabbed the inmate shortly after his daring attempt to escape. Now to this story, a number of Barbadians arrived at the Grant Lee Adams International Airport this afternoon from Panama on Copa Airlines flight CM260 and were immediately disappointed and upset. Over 70 of their bags did not arrive with them. Passengers told CBC News the aircraft which took them to Panama was much bigger than the one they departed on this morning. They say during boarding, some bags had to be removed from the plane which arrived here in Barbados around 2 p.m. Airline representatives say their bags will arrive in Barbados on Saturday. Government is continuing to map out a plan to ensure there's proper remuneration for local artists. Minister in the Ministry of Culture, Senator Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight, says, however, they will be in a better position to do so after they map out the economic contribution of local arts to determine its true value to the economy. Speaking during the Barbados Community College's Division of Fine Arts Portfolio Launch 2023 at the Airy in the Ivy, she said government is committed to a continued investment in the sector.
But one of the things that we are intending to do is to make sure that professionals in the arts get paid, make money, and are viewed as professionals, as people who contribute to the economy. And therefore, in the context of the Division of Culture, what we will be attempting to do over this year and next year is to actually map the economic contribution of the arts, of course, to the Barbadian economy. Because the work often gets unnoticed because it isn't counted.
Senator Dr. Munro-Knight says fashion and film are key areas. She says already $1 million has been earmarked for the expansion of the local fashion industry in association with Export Barbados. In addition, she says they are also looking to roll out a full program to develop the film industry.
I'm very happy to announce that in the context of film, she's also given the Division of Culture and the National Culture Foundation a mandate to work with the Barbados Community College for the development of a program very, very, very soon, if you know the Prime Minister, that will see, hopefully at the bachelor's level, a full program so that we can again expand the film industry here in Barbados. Because it is not just about the incentives to encourage others to come here, but ensuring that we have a local industry as well.
Barbadians will soon have additional areas to participate in leisure activities like hiking, cycling and general nature walks. It comes with the creation of the Barbados Trailway. Lead volunteer for the Future Center Trust project, Ralph Luther, says it aims to convert the government-owned property of the former Barbados Railway into a multi-purpose trail for the public.
It goes across the entire country, starts in Bridgetown, goes through the St. George Valley, through St. Philip, hits the east coast at Concert Bay, and then goes up through Bathsheba, Cattlewash, all the way to Belle Plaine. We're hoping to get the section from Bridgetown to Concert Bay into a state where it can be used year-round. Right now, the challenge with a lot of the cart roads is, while they are technically open to the public during the rainy season, it's very difficult to hike, run, or cycle through them. We're now focusing on completing the demo stretch in the St. George Valley.
Mr. Luther says the project also includes planting thousands of trees. Several youngsters in the Juvenile Liaison Scheme braved the heat this morning to help with that effort. They planted about 30 along the Barbados Trailway in Buttle, St. George. Sergeant of Police attached to the scheme, Kim Harris, says one of the benefits of the activity is teaching the children respect.
If we can get our children to respect their environment, they can see it as a tool for them to respect themselves and others. I mean, this is a worthwhile contribution. It gives them the opportunity to do something as a team building, character building, and to be able to coexist whilst enhancing the environment as well.
Author and director of Camp Transition, Margaret Grant, is urging parents to make themselves more aware when it comes to the digital activities of their children. Ms. Grant says with the new school term set to begin, parents must avoid situations where they refuse to learn more about the digital spaces and technology their children use because they see it as being just for young people. She was speaking on today's edition of Morning Barbados.
They're being exposed to a lot, positive and negative, okay? And I think many times now the parents are hidden from this. All of this is hid from the parents. And also, because some children are using the opportunity now to do deviant things that they know the parents would not agree to, they then develop this whole thing about being deceptive. And with that comes the lying and all the cheating behaviors. So we want parents to be more aware. Stop pulling the towel over your eyes and saying, I don't belong to this digital age. You belong. As long as you have a child in this world, you belong to the digital age. And you need to get with it. Get with the program.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Time now to head into the world of sports. We're joined by Damien Best. Damien, good evening.
Good evening to you, Pearson. Good evening to our viewers and listeners. Well, Jordan Johnson was the last man standing as West Indies under-19s lost by 7 wickets to Sri Lanka under-19s in the second youth test at Dambulla today. Resuming from their overnight score of 251 for 8 with Johnson on 133 and Tamari Redwood yet to score, the Windies added 26 to their total to be bowled out for 277. Redwood was run out for 2 and Deshaun James run out without scoring, leaving Johnson unbeaten on 157. Needing just 79 for victory, Sri Lanka reached 81 for 3 from 18.4 overs to secure the victory. Isaiah Thorne and Tariq Edward took a wicket apiece in that losing effort. For his scores of 149, 52 and 157 not out, Johnson was named player of the series.
I think it's just about being more watchful. You know, the stigma around Sri Lanka is that the pitch is going to spin, or the pitches are going to spin a lot. That's been the case through some periods of the matches. But more so it's just, playing tight, staying in the V most times, and knowing that when you're in control, and not giving it away.
In the match, West Indies under-19s 127 and 277, Sri Lanka under-19s 326 and 81 for 3 to win by 7 wickets.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
In business tonight, a new strategy for the island's energy sector is in the works. Minister of Energy and Business, Senator Lisa Cummins, has been providing details of the plan. Trevor Thorpe reports.
Senator Cummins believes public-private sector innovation is needed as Barbados and the region look to develop a new energy arrangement. She told stakeholders at a Caribbean Climate Investment Program breakfast meeting a national energy initiative will be rolled out in November.
We are in the process of updating Barbados' national energy plan. By November, we expect to be able to launch, with our Prime Minister in the lead, perhaps in the margins of the climate event, one of the climate events, we hope to be able to launch not just a Barbados national energy plan, but a Barbados National Energy Investment Plan that allows the private sector and partners such as many of you in this room to be able to identify both greenfield and brownfield opportunities for investment in the energy space.
And the Energy and Business Minister says an updated Integrated Resources and Resilience Plan is also coming.
But the world has changed so rapidly, technology has evolved so quickly, the space has been crowded in so amazingly and incredibly that we now are in a place where in 2023, we made the decision earlier this year that we needed to update the IIRP, which also gave us our energy mix. And we expect also to be working with one of our international multilateral partners, I should say, to have a storage strategy as well. So we will have a new energy mix, a new storage strategy in both instances, which will require investment.
Senator Cummins says the energy sector is abuzz with activity and has given notice Barbados will play host to a global energy forum in June next year. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Well, there is some concern that the hot conditions could have an impact on food prices in Barbados. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, has been explaining the implications for the agriculture sector.
Evapotranspiration rates will actually increase. So you now have to apply more water than you would normally apply. This is despite the fact, of course, that farmers are currently using water-saving techniques such as drip irrigation in order to irrigate their crops. So that, the heat is just what it is that you have to face. In the case of livestock, again, what I want to say is you have a general increase in cost because one of the things that we notice is that even productivity of the animals actually decline.
Time for us to take another look at sports. Damien.
Thanks so much, Pearson. Round 2, the 39th edition of the Barbados Open Golf Championship tees off tomorrow at the Barbados Golf Club in Durance, Christchurch. The Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. sponsored 3-day competition has attracted a large field of 139 players from over 10 different countries. It's a 54-hole stroke play tournament in which players can also earn World Amateur Golf ranking points. BGA Vice President and Tournament Director David Phillips says the sections include men's and women's championship flight, men's and women's first flight, along with seniors and super seniors.
We have players from Antigua, Cayman, Grenada, Guyana, St. Lucia, Trinidad, and obviously host Barbados, and a group of Jamaica and players from as far as Turkey. So we have an exciting time here this weekend. The championship flight is going to be very interesting. We have a field of 26 in the championship flight. Defending champion Leon Bryden from Trinidad will be up against a tough competition out of Jamaica and our home team, which is going to be led by Barbados top golfers in Simon Proverbs and Xavier Wiggins, who will be looking to wrestle the Barbados Open trophy from Trinidad.
Champions have already signaled their intentions of repeating in 2023.
I'm the defending ladies champion, and I'm here to keep my title and bring it back home to Trinidad and Tobago. You know, even though if the competition is rough, I'm here to try my best, and I guess that's what matters.
Junior Charles from Trinidad and Tobago, here to defend the seniors title. Here the competition will be stiff this year, but I'm here to enjoy Barbados.
Well, Kaipo Marshall will be first on court for Barbados tomorrow in their all-important Davis Cup tennis clash against host Poland. The 21-year-old will be up against Poland's #1 player Hubert Hurkacz, with Barbadian Darian King penciled in for the second rubber before King and Hayden Lewis team up for the doubles. On Saturday, if necessary, the reverse singles will determine the tie. The nominations were completed today and sets out the roadmap for the World Group 2 first-round encounter, which starts at 9 a.m. Barbados time. Non-playing captain Damien Applewhite says the new Davis Cup format gives players tremendous opportunities to battle the best in the world.
The format change is welcome because we were always confined to our continental zone. But now we're in the World Group and we're rubbing shoulders with the best of the best, as you said. We've played ties against Norway, playing against Casper Ruud, who got #2 in the world. We played against Brazil with former #1 doubles player in the world. And now we're playing against Poland with a top 10 player. It's just a tremendous opportunity, and it shows you how far Barbados tennis has come and be able to compete with these guys.
And finally, former Barbados and West Indies cricketer Peter Lashley was laid to rest today at Coral Ridge Memorial Gardens. Family, friends and fellow cricket legends bid farewell to Lashley, who passed away last week at the age of 86 in a service at the Coral Ridge Chapel. Lashley, who debuted for the West Indies in 1960 against Australia, was one of the participants in the historic tie test during that series. During the eulogy, his son William detailed his father's dedication to work and his deep love for sports.
Cricket was his passion, and his commitment knew no bounds. To secure additional practice with Spartan, he would arrive in the nets 2 to 3 hours early, placing money on the stumps and challenging spectators at Queen's Park to bowl him down. His dedication extended far beyond the field. He poured his heart and soul into the sport of Barbados and was the mastermind behind Instant Lottery Game, a crucial lifeline for cricket in Barbados and the Barbados Cricket Association. He served as a selector, a manager, and a coach for Barbados, forever leaving a permanent mark on the cricketing landscape. Such dedication also led him to represent Barbados in bridge and golf. My dad also had an enduring love for horse racing and even owned a few horses. This connection introduced him to a circle of lifelong friends who remain cherished by our family to this day.
Well, that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending yours with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we'll see you tomorrow.